All right, good afternoon, everybody. I am Chandra Vittel, State Programs Unit Supervisor and the Senior Dental Program Administrator. With me today is Vince Sherry. He will be presenting on the audits, and then also Tracy Gonzalez, Program Assistant, is graciously helping us with the training slides today. And if there's any issues, which we hope there won't be. So if you can go to the next slide. Some of the items that we are going to run over today, and I want to let everybody know, feel free to ask questions throughout. I do have slides where we will take a moment or two to answer more questions, but I'm a sole believer on answering them when they come up to make things a little bit easier. We'll be covering important dates, eligibility, Medicare savings programs, billing, annual reporting, audits, and then once again, any questions that you should have. The fiscal year 22-23 grant start date is July 1st. We actually have one new grantee this fiscal year coming up. No procedures from fiscal year 21-22 may be billed past the June 20, and that should say 22 invoice, with one exception. If any clients' procedures were billed to Medicare and the grantee did not receive the statement back in time for the June invoice to bill the remaining amount to the department, that actually can go over into the next fiscal year. And we'll actually talk more about that further through the training. And if this should happen, the date of service should be used on the fiscal year 2022-23 invoice that you're filling out. All paperwork should also be uploaded into SharePoint. And that is for me to review to ensure that the Medicare insurance company was billed prior to the July 1st start date. We'll get more into it. It's about halfway through, and we'll talk a little more about that. There's still a lot of confusion on many sides with this, as Medicare is its own animal, and we're still trying to wrap our arms around this one. Next slide, please. Invoices are due by the 15th of the following month, unless the 15th falls on a weekend or if the department is closed, and then it is due the first prior workday. And then the fiscal year 2022-23 annual report is due to the department by September 1st, 2023, as our annual report is due to the General Assembly by November 1st, 2023. I'm sorry, can you go back one slide, Tracy? Thank you. I want everybody to know that the majority of the information that goes on the annual reports, I actually obtain through the invoices that you submit. So many times when I send you the questions that need to be answered for your annual report, there's only about 5 or 6. And that's the reason that that is the only information that needs to be submitted into me. I know a lot of the information on the invoices can be tedious, but actually it helps in the long run because we don't have to bother you and for you to get the data at the end of the fiscal year. Okay, Tracy, thank you. Eligibility, the clients must be 60 years of age or over. They can maintain a picture ID in the client's file showing proof of their age. If the client is 60 through 64, and they fall with the 138% of the federal poverty guideline, they must have a denial letter from Health First Colorado showing that they don't qualify. And the following reasons cannot be used for denial, as far as did not apply for medical assistance, they don't want medical assistance any longer, or they did not submit the requested documents. The reason it's only 60 through 64 is the majority of seniors, once they turn 65, they are actually removed from Medicaid. So that is the reason we do not ask for a denial letter for those ages and up. Income must be at or below 250% of the current federal poverty guideline. Clients must not qualify or currently have Health First Colorado, which once again, that's Colorado Medicaid, or the old age pension medical. The web portal must be checked on all clients. I kind of want to take some time on this one because we've had grantees in the past that felt just checking DentaQuest would be fine. That is not okay. The web portal, I actually give out access to that. If you are not a current MA site or have access to the web portal, for you to go in and actually check eligibility. I suggest that you check eligibility at least once a year. I have many grantees that check eligibility every time a client comes in. That is something I would highly recommend for the certain fact of when audits come around. And if the person was put on Medicaid and did not inform you, then the grantee will actually have to pay that money back to the department for those procedures. It is also suggested when you go in and check the web portal that you do a print screen and put in your file. The reason for that is sometimes the Medicaid system can run behind. They'll show you that the person is not on Medicaid. Audits come around and then we go in and check, and then they were shown now they were on Medicaid during the time of those procedures. That covers you. If we see that in the client's file, you did what you're supposed to do, you did your due diligence, Medicaid was not up to date, so you will not be forced to pay those funds back. And it looks like we have a question. Does the picture ID need to be Colorado State ID or driver's license? It does not, as long as it just shows their age with their picture. If the client has an unexpired Colorado Indigent Care Program, CICP card, the client automatically qualifies for the senior dental program as long as they are 60 or over. This is what the CICP card looks like. If you get one of these from a client, the only thing you need to verify at that point is that they are 60 and over and get a copy of some type of ID showing picture and age. I do want to let you know that we are looking at the future of CICP. Until further notice, these will be available for some clients to possibly give you, but it's hard to say what's going to happen with the future on CICP. If there is a change where CICP is terminated and is no longer in effect for clinics, then we will let you know through the newsletter that the CICP cards will no longer be available. Got another question. Do they need to be a Colorado resident? Yes, they do. Colorado residency is very easy. You can either obtain documentation, and we will do this with your own internal policy, that if you currently require documentation, let's say a lease, a mortgage, or any type of documentation that they have, you can accept that. If they want to self-attest, they can also do that as well. To establish Colorado residency, all it takes is for someone to say that they have moved here and they have the intent to stay here. So we have no guidelines as far as what documentation you need. However, if they do self-attest, I would suggest possibly getting some type of letter and having them sign it. That is your call though, however. Let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Karina. Next slide, please. Lawful presence, and I'm sure this is going to make many people happy. Senate Bill 21-199 removed the requirement of individuals to prove lawful presence in the U.S. to be eligible for state programs effective July 1st. Seniors must still be a resident of Colorado to be eligible for the senior dental program. So this means that you will still need to collect a lawful presence affidavit and the documentation through June 30th. Effective July 1st, you will no longer have to prove lawful presence for that senior for them to be on this program. Since you all got a copy of the slideshow, I just wanted to put this in here. It kind of helps a little bit. These are some of the Medicare savings programs that we have that they pretty much, sorry, I'm reading comments as they come in, and it's kind of like a squirrel for me. I have to look down. So I'll get to your questions in just a second here. For some of the programs, they automatically qualify for the senior dental program. For SLMB, all that SLMB is it pays a percentage of the premium of Part B of Medicare, so they are eligible for the senior dental program. QI1s are eligible. The QMBs are also eligible. However, you want to be careful because we do have a Medicare Medicaid QMB, which is a dual eligible. Now, when you look them up in the web portal, the first thing you will actually see is Medicaid. So it will show Medicaid first and then QMB. So you should know right off the bat that they are Medicaid eligible. So when a client comes in and says, well, I'm QMB, please still look them up because they might be a QMB eligible. Let me get to the questions here. Save is gone, correct? Well, save is not gone, it's still there, but effective July 1st, you will no longer have to look anything up in save for any seniors applying to be eligible for the program. Does that mean migrant workers are eligible how long for Colorado residency? It does not, if they do not have to prove lawful presence. So anybody who applies, no matter what type of work they do, they are eligible for the senior dental program. How long for Colorado residency? There is not a date. We do not say they have to be here 2 months, a week, or anything. As long as they say they live in Colorado and they intend to stay, that is all we need for the program. Does that mean undocumented individuals will now qualify for senior dental program? Yes, that is what that means. They do not have to prove lawful presence. Just verifying, if our agency does not require any proof of residency, we will not be expected to produce any paper proof letters, etc., for audits. As I had said, you can do whatever your internal policy currently is. If you do not ask for any type of proof that they are a current Colorado resident, I do suggest that you maybe have something on your application form that you use for this that asks if they're a Colorado resident, and if they check yes, then that's all you need. But that is not something that we actually, and Vince, I'm going to have you chime in on this. What do you look for on Colorado residency, if anything, when you do the audits? Oh, you're muted.
How's that?
We can hear you. Yep,
okay.
We can hear you.
I look for the driver's license to be current. Frequently, there's not frequently, sometimes there's a expired driver's license, and I call back and ask them to send me another one.
Okay, so you actually usually use the documentation they submit for the lawful presence for Colorado residency then?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's where a change is going to happen with the audits. My suggestion, once again, is to have just something, if they're going to self-attest, just have something for them to sign that they are a Colorado resident. Let's see, in our experience, patients do not know or tell us when they are SLMB, QMB, etc. And that's understandable. They're not going to know, but you are required to go into the web portal to look up if they are currently on Medicaid. So whether they tell you they're on it or they don't know, it really is kind of a moot point because you have to get into the web portal and check anyway.
So I have a question real quick regarding the auditing.
I'm sorry, who is this?
This is Laura at Valleywide, sorry.
That's okay.
Regarding the auditing issue that Mr. Vincent alluded to, if we have a copy of a current ID or driver's license, that's not sufficient. We have to also document on the application that they are Colorado residents.
No, you can do either.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next slide, please, Tracy. Let me answer this really quick. If they are undocumented and provide any ID, some may be expired, etc., is that acceptable? And Karina, are you talking about the ID for Colorado residency? Okay, that's fine. I mean, if it's a Colorado license. If that's currently what you do, that's fine. We're trying to make it as easy as possible. Oh, it's not a Colorado ID. Well, that doesn't show Colorado residency. And this is a visa from Mexico would be for lawful presence, and we no longer will do lawful presence effective July 1st. So I know that there is confusion between lawful presence and Colorado residency. So on the Colorado residency, we would like you just to do what your current internal procedure is. If you don't ask for documentation to prove that they are a Colorado resident, and you would like them just to self-attest and say that they are, then I would just have something typed up or even have them write a letter stating that they are a Colorado resident and they can self-attest. Any picture ID is valid for identification. For the age, yes. And I'm just wondering, Corey, why are you wondering about a visa from Mexico plus a Colorado resident? Is that for age? I'm not sure what the visa would be used for. For ID for what? For their age? Okay, yep, that would work if you're using it for their age. Bernadette, you do need a photo ID for their age. You're welcome. Oh gosh, and I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, please holler out. I think I got them all. Okay, so for the Medicare Advantage plans, also known as MAPs, if the client has a MAP, a copay of their NAP card should be put into the client's file. If the dental insurance is through the client's MAP, they still qualify for the senior dental program. With the Medicare Advantage plans, with many of them, the seniors do not have an option to opt out of those. And as you know, last year we were able to get it added where these seniors could now still be on senior dental program, even though they had dental insurance through that MAP because they could not opt out. If the client has extra dental insurance, which means that they have their MAP, but then they purchased an extra supplemental for dental to receive more dental benefits, then they do not qualify for the senior dental program. If the grantee can bill the current MAP insurance, they must do so. The insurance company must be billed prior to billing the senior dental program. If the grantee does not have a current contract with that specific insurance company, they do not have to bill and can bill the senior dental program for the full amount. So what this means, and this also goes for any of the grantees that don't do any of the dental work themselves, but they actually farm them out to providers within Colorado. If that provider can bill, say, for Cigna, and if I can get everybody to please mute, I'm getting some back feed. Thank you. If you have a provider that can bill for Cigna, but can't bill for, let's say, United Health, and you receive a senior that comes in that has their map through United Health, United Health does not need to be billed through that provider. And the senior does not need to be sent to another provider to ensure that the insurance company is billed. We don't want the seniors being sent from provider to provider just so the insurance company can be billed. And if there's any, I was waiting for some questions on this. Do providers have to be in Colorado? We have a lot of Jackson County clients who go to Wyoming for services. This is state of Colorado only. So everything that has to deal with this program has to be within Colorado. You're welcome. Okay, next slide, please, Tracy. Once I kind of jumped ahead, but I want to reiterate on this again. If the grantee farms out the dental work and the provider is able to bill the current MAP insurance company, they must do so before senior dental program is billed. If the provider is not able to bill the current MAP insurance company, they do not need to bill and can bill the senior dental program for the full amount. The reasonable screening for income, the client's income must be at or below 250% of the most current federal poverty guideline. And grantees can use their current income screening forms. There is not a form or application that we have that we developed. We made it so every entity that was a grantee for this program would be able to use their current forms. Whatever information you obtain to show proof of income, please ensure that you have copies of the stubs that you use for proof of income and they're in the client's file. This is family income, correct? Yes, Karina, it is. Normally, I mean, it's not very often that you will see a senior that's living alone or a couple that actually has more individuals with them. If they do have more individuals with them, then it's going to be based on how many members are in that household and what the full income is of the household. We do have to take that in consideration. Clients may self-declare their income. I want everybody to use caution on this. Some clients use this as a way to get on the program when they don't qualify. I suggest that you have the client sign a statement indicating what they make and are aware that any false information is considered fraud and is subject to full repayment of services if they found they don't qualify for the program. I have to admit, we've been doing this program since 2015, and I know of 2 seniors that actually committed pretty much fraud. So it doesn't happen very often, but it does. So they can self-declare. I just caution you on that to ensure that you have something signed to kind of cover you and showing that you did your due diligence. Okay, are there any other questions at this point on what I've covered so far? Okay, we'll go on to the next. On the billing, once again, invoices are due by the 15th of the following month, unless it falls on a weekend or holiday, and it is then due the previous workday. The senior dental program will pay no more than max program payment. It is up to the grantee if they want to charge a co-payment. And covered procedures must be provided before billing the senior dental program. And then as with the co-payments, it's up to the grantee if they want to charge the 7% administrative fee. We do have some grantees that will not charge this. Actually, they use that 7% administrative fee to do more work on procedures for the seniors. The billing across in fiscal years. If you forgot to put a procedure on a June invoice, and I really want everyone to listen to this because we have the June invoice that you'll be filling out next month. And you realize it's on the next fiscal year, you cannot bill for that procedure unless it is part of a MAP. Again, if you are doing your June invoice and you have any procedures that were not part of a medical advantage plan that was billed and you're waiting to get a statement on how much was paid, it cannot be billed on the next fiscal year. All grantees must bill the insurance of the MAP if they have the ability to do so prior to billing the senior dental program. If the grantee sends the clients to other providers and those providers have the ability to bill the insurance of the MAP, they must do so prior to the grantee billing the senior dental program. And I know I have said this maybe 2 or 3 times, and I might say it one more time. So like I said, some of the grantees that we have, AAAs, some grantees, they don't do certain procedures within their office, so they have to send them out. The person that they are sent to, if they have the ability to bill the insurance company for that Medicare Advantage plan, must do so. Okay, next slide. If a grantee bills an insurance in June and finds out in the next fiscal year that it didn't pay the full procedure amount, the grantee may bill the senior dental program. This is the only time that you will be allowed to cross fiscal years for a payment. When the procedure is billed on the invoice for a previous fiscal year procedure, the grantee must also upload the billing to the insurance showing when it was billed and showing the response from the insurance company. This gives me, plus it's for our records, shows that the insurance company was billed prior to July 1st. And that is why this procedure from the previous fiscal year is now being paid in the current fiscal year. The Excel workbook, the senior dental program will only accept the billing on the Excel worksheet, and it must be uploaded through SharePoint. If a new employee starts, the grantee must contact Tracy to obtain access to SharePoint. If there is an employee that has left, the grantee can also let Tracy know of the access that needs to be removed. If the following is found, the procedures will be removed from the invoice and the grantee will be notified and the new invoice amount will be given. I actually am going to be sharing my screen here in a minute. I do have an invoice that I've put in some information and I want to show you all a couple of things, even with the grantees that have been with me for a while. A few of you have been with me since the start in 2015. Of items that I look for and maybe a couple of tips and tricks that you may not know about that'll help you navigate through the Excel. And so I will bring that up in a minute. Any procedures will be removed from the invoice, and this is going to be requested client information not filled in, procedures and any monetary amount is not filled in, and then review of the invoice shows duplicate services that were already billed. The invoice will be changed. And as far as the immediate dentures, all clients that receive immediate dentures must be given the informed consent for immediate denture form, and that is located on the Grantee website. It must be signed by both the client and the dentist and be kept in the client's file. And then before we go any further, Tracy, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, are you able to see that? Perfect. All right, so I chose Scooby-Doo. So got all the information in here. Sometimes I will receive an invoice and it has this little red thing over here. And that means that the copay amount that was entered is over the copay max for what the patient is supposed to pay. When this happens, the amount billed does not show up in here at all. So if I receive an invoice like this, I will contact you and let you know that either this needs to be redone or what the amount should be. Once I change this to the correct amount, which is the 80, that now disappears. The correct amount is listed here, and now it goes up here and adds into the top. I've had a lot of people ask, so what do we do if we want to get rid of a line? It won't let me delete it out. That is because numerous columns are locked because they have formulas in them. So the easiest thing for you to do, I have done a duplicate billing of the 4341 for quadrants LL here and LL here. If you just highlight over to the procedure code and stop, hit delete, it takes that out. And then you can just delete those out and all the information is gone. Another item that I do when I let you know, which I'm sure the majority of you have received an email from me if I found a duplicate service, I'll let you know that it has been removed. And I have some people that have a hard time keeping track on their invoices of why something was removed. With they have to go back to their emails. So if this helps anybody, this is exactly what I do. And this is on my copy of the invoice. Once I send you guys an email, I will delete that out. I will put the procedure number and I will put double billed. And that gives me, if you contact me and say, well, wait a minute, I'm not understanding why we're showing a different amount, I can go in and look right here and know exactly why I removed that. You can do the same thing if you are doing, for an example, this one here. Procedure D2331 is for 2 surfaces. Only 1 surface was listed. That would be removed. And then in the email, as you all are aware, is I would let you know that I need the correct surfaces. I apologize for that. So let me go ahead and put this back in here. Since we do have one new grantee, I do want to cover the summary page. Summary page, you will have the information of your place here. This is the total amount that was allocated to you for the fiscal year. The treatment cost paid to date comes from this area, and this will come from all invoices all the way through the end of the fiscal year. And then the total admin 7% goes in this line, and then the total remaining amount of the grant. As you know, throughout the year somebody who knows they're not going to use money, I will go ahead and take it, give it to another grantee that can use it. I always try to remember to update your information. I will put a new awarded amount here and then upload a new workbook. If I forget to do that, please remind me. And I will ensure that that's done for you. And then that way you can ensure that we have a running total that is the same amount. I guess, are there any questions? And Tracy, I don't have where I can see if any questions have come up.
No, I just have Karina asking for the PowerPoint. Karina, I will go ahead and send that to you, but it will probably be after the meeting, if that's okay. Other than that, no questions.
Perfect, thank you. So another thing is I've been asked, what if we don't want to actually bill for the 7% admin fee? All you need to do is click on it, hit delete, and it takes it right out. That's all you need to do. For ones that are billing less than what the max payment is, or you've received, you did billing on a Medicare Advantage plan and now you're billing the department, so it's not going to be the full amount. This column here is for the amount less than the max fee. So let's say that you were actually paid $200 for a denture. If you enter $594.52 to recover the rest, it actually changes the amount here of what is billed to HCPF. And I think that's it with the questions that I've received. Oh, and one other thing here on the Medicare column. This actually changed last year and I just didn't say anything because I did not want to send you guys all a new workbook. This has always been an N or a Y in Has Medicare. So when everybody put down no or yes, I actually went in and would just change it myself. The new workbooks that I will be uploading for you guys, hopefully within the next week, we'll actually have this new formatting here. So there's no more no's or yeses. It's just an N or a Y.
And we do have another question.
Okay.
If we submitted a bill and the fee adjusted the procedure, how to retract the charge on the next statement?
Okay. So there's going to be either two things on this. If you are in the current year and the amount that needs to be actually given back is within the same fiscal year, that's a very easy fix. And what I will do is actually remove that procedure if that's what we need to do from our records, and then there will be an adjustment that shows on your next payment. If it is crossing fiscal years, so let's say that you billed for the procedure in June, and then in July, you realized you should not have billed it, I will remove the procedure from our records, but you will need to send the department a check paying back the amount that was billed along with the 7% admin fee if that was also billed.
Okay, and let's see, I think it should be if the amount less than the max fee. Can you re-explain, please, the Scooby-Doo example line 9?
Sure. So let me delete this out of here. So let's say that we pay out a max of the full $874.52, but your place of business only charges $500 for a denture. If you click in $500 here, because that's the only amount that you want to be paid, it actually then makes this amount here $500. And that's going to be the same with if you are billing a map. You receive a check from the insurance company and the insurance only paid, let's say $200 for that denture, in which we know that most of the maps never pay for a denture. But let's say that you receive $200. So then you need to bill us $594.52. And but over here it's showing the $794. Then you put in here $594.52, and then it puts in the correct amount here. It overrides the max payment amount, and then changes it up here as well.
So we can bill the remaining to SDP if the map doesn't cover it.
That is correct, yes. The one thing I do ask is that, let's say that we have the full amount of $794.52, and you do receive a check for $200, that you do bill the $594.52 and not the full $794. We just ask for honesty. We actually are still working on getting access to check maps and the individuals that are enrolled in them. As we all know, the feds can be a little tricky on trying to get them to work with you. So that is something. So we do ask for honesty for the amount being billed to us currently. And that eventually will be in the audits that we will start checking. More than likely, once we do obtain access to that, we will, as you know, we can audit it anytime. We will probably go into past fiscal years and audit maps from those past fiscal years once we're able to do that. Are there any other questions on the invoice?
We have one more. Let's see, if a provider is ready to deliver a denture, but the patient refuses to come in for the final seating, can the dentist recover any of the denture cost despite the failure to deliver the denture?
This one, I've never quite understood this one, because you would think somebody would want their teeth, but hey, that's just me. So what I would suggest is, number one, for you to contact me. Let me know actually who the person is, and I actually will also try to contact them. If I receive nothing, what we can do is see about covering the lab fees. And so it would either be the lab fees or the max program payment fee, whichever is less.
All right, and if I have a procedure that costs $100 and MAP pays $100, do I even need to put it on the form?
No, you do not. You are good to go.
And another one, for treatments that we know are not covered by the MAP, we don't have to spend our precious time to bill those treatments to the MAP just to get a denial, right?
Absolutely. If you know that that map is only going to cover 1 cleaning, 2 x-rays, and I don't know, lucky to get anywhere past that, then no, you do not need to bill for anything past that if you know that they will not be covered.
All right, I think that is it.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this now. Oh, you know what, Tracy? I just looked over on my other screen and there's the chat questions. My apologies.
No worries.
All right. Okay, now on the Senior Dental Program Annual Report. This must be submitted every fiscal year by September 1st. The report must be in the format specified by the department and will include information for the July 1st through June 30th grant period. And like I said previously, a large amount of the information needed for the report will be retrieved from the monthly invoices submitted by the grantees. I will let you know in a timely manner what other information that I will need on that report. And it also will be listed in the email that I send you, the format of how the report needs to be. For example, there needs to be a cover page. The questions must be answered or numbered, and then your answer below that. We don't go into a huge formatting deal on this just because, number one, it's such a small program. And number two, the majority of the information I'm getting from the invoices. So that, and I'm the only one who sees it. I actually get that information and then put it all into the huge report that goes to the General Assembly. We do keep those reports though, in case we're ever audited. So that is the reason that I do require the formatting that I ask of you to do in case that should happen. Okay, any questions? All right. Vince, it is over to you, sir.
Thank you. Audits. Audits will be performed at random times, as Chandra mentioned. It can be done at any time throughout the year. Items in the department we look for, but are not limited to, duplicate billing, submitting invoices prior to the procedures being completed, charging the clients more than what their copay should be. And on that one, I might mention that Chandra said that that shows up as a red line in the invoices, and it'll be corrected on the invoices, but you should contact the client and refund the overage to them. Clients and dentists must sign the media dentures form, both signatures if applicable. I might mention that a common error in the audits that I find is that you'll bill a department for a procedure. I'll go into the patient's ledger and it won't be there. And this leads to money due back to the department. During the audit, though, I have found that if something is missing and whether the amount is large or not, I try to contact the grantee and let them know that on the submission of their data, I was missing Hillary Hickbuff. And so they look back and they said, oh, I'm showing that it's in there. So if they can send me that, I don't actually charge them for that. Mentioning the submission of the data, there's about a third of the grantees use zip files, and those work really good. Another third is individuals files are loaded onto the SharePoint individually. And then the third way is everybody will just load them into one big file and send it through. On the latter, that's usually where something is missing because you don't have a way of knowing if a name was skipped. If the server has a problem and it runs out of gas and thought it'd take a breath, it doesn't pick up necessarily where it left off. So I will work with you if you're missing a procedure because it doesn't make any sense to have you pay when you really did charge it. It just didn't show up. On the most previous audit, we had some problems with the server on our end, and sometimes it was on your side, in which the server just didn't pop out the file. and each file has about 10 to 15 pieces of data in it, so it's rather large, and it takes a while to get through. I just wanted to add that in there. Clients that receive immediate dentures are automatically added to the audit list, and all files selected will be reviewed to ensure that they were not part of Health First Colorado during that time. All files will be checked for the age requirement. If grantees have a finding letter, will be completed showing what all the findings were. A corrective action plan is required on all the findings. I will send you a letter informing you of the findings, letting you know that you'll have to fill out the CAP form, which is included in with the finding letter, and you'll have 30 days to complete the corrective action plan along with the implementation date on the CAP form. A check will be needed to submit it back to the department, repaying all the correct bill procedures. If it comes down to that, you actually just didn't bill somebody, then you will have to submit a check, and that'll be in the letter as well. Next slide. Even though lawful presence will not be required, as mentioned earlier, audits for the fiscal year will check for lawful presence, as it is currently required for fiscal year 21 and 22. Questions? Thank you.
Great, thank you, Vince. And just to let everybody know that throughout the next few months, I actually will be training Vince on doing invoices. That way I can actually spend a little more time with being able to supervise the unit, because the senior dental program is not the only thing that we do. So you'll start hearing more from him, not just from audits, but regarding the invoices further towards probably the end of December, maybe a little bit past that.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to add one other thing. The next audit will cover the fiscal year 2021, 2022.
Great. Thank you, Vince. So here is our contact information. At the start of the PowerPoint, there actually is the website listed for the Grantee website for Senior Dental Program. All of that will be updated effective July 1st. And what I mean by that is if there was any changes in as far as addresses, what county that you'll be serving in July, all of that will be updated effective July 1st. And then also the lawful presence information will be removed from the website on July 1st. I do go in front of the Medical Services Board tomorrow. I will do the emergency rule for the lawful presence to be removed from the Senior Dental Program rules, and that will be effective July 1st. So
I wanted to add one thing. The email address for me, it should be Vincent. If you Vince, it will not go through.
Thank you, Vance.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Got to
that.
put an NT on it. Thank you.
All right. So do we have any other remaining questions, comments? So that I can be clear, as of July 1st, we no longer need to get the affidavit. That is absolutely correct. In fact, effective July 1st, that affidavit is going to be completely removed from the Senior Dental Program website. You're welcome. Well, thanks, Karina. Appreciate that. Anytime. We are always here for anybody who needs any assistance. We did have at our last dental advisory committee meeting, a couple of procedures that were recommended to be voted in. I am hoping to get that taken to the medical services board within the next month or two and get those added on along with any of the other changes that were made to the dental procedure guidelines. And that's basically just to update according to ADA, make some clarifications, that type of information. So I will definitely be sending out a newsletter letting you know when all of that is going to happen. When those two new procedures are added to the fee schedule, what will happen is I will reformat, get those uploaded into SharePoint and let you all know. Normally what I will do is wait until after the end of that an invoice is due. So let's say that June 15th, all the invoices would be due. What I'm going to do is the month that this happens, the day after the invoices are due, I will upload a new workbook that will have all your previous information on there, but also have those new procedures in there so you can start billing them. So, any other questions? All right, great. Well, if you think of anything, please feel free to send us an email. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to come to the training. For one, it's a brand new training. For others, it's just more of little more information to remember how things are done. And I really appreciate actually the amount of people that showed up for the training today. We appreciate your time.
For sure.
All right, Tracy, do you have anything else?
No, nothing on my end.
We will, oh, wait a minute. There's a whole bunch coming through. Can this training please be emailed to me? Actually, what we will do is we will go ahead and put the slides on the website, on the Grantee website. And then at some point we will go ahead and put the recording on the website as well. And when I send out the next newsletter, Tracy, how quickly do you usually get those done? I know you're swamped right now as well.
I can have it done within maybe a week and a half.
Okay. So everyone, you'll be able to access all of that then. You all are very welcome. And that's it. That's all I got. I will now be quiet and let you all go on your day.